Welcome back to our next video. Didn't plan on doing a video today, but while I was here eating piece of cane, as you could see, this is a coconut get from the grocery store. No good. But I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna make something cool out of it. I'm gonna clean inside out. Probably make something cool out of it. You know, sometimes you're here and you're talking to yourself. You know, everybody have those moments where certain stuff run back through your brains. Either something from a long time ago, even 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Well, in my case, I think this was 2017. In 2017 or 2018. I think it was 2017. Between 2017 and 2018. And it's so funny why just here running back through my brain. And if you don't know, this is a sugar cane. Get from the grocery store. Also I get a jelly. Also get a machete. Jamaican machete. Also a file. I'm gonna go sharpen this. But I just want to give you guys a little part of my story. Part one of my story. I think I'm gonna share it with you guys. My experience, the good, the bad, and the ugly of my life, where the things I go through here in Canada. Lots of good people, lots of lovely people, and lots of some people where I wouldn't call them bitter. I think they don't know better. I would say that. And where am I going with this? It's so funny. I'm just here sitting down and it go back to my brain, just clicking, like, I just be laughing with myself like I'm crazy. And where am I going with this? I remember in 2017, and this was one of them. 1 out of 1,000. Again, this is part one. I'm going to do a series on this probably every Saturday. Sit and talk to you guys. Well, for most of you who don't know me, I'm from Jamaica. And me and my son decided to start this channel. So, welcome to this channel. Again, my name is Dwaine. This younger fellow is D&Dwaine, that's my son. So, let me give you a part one of my life story here living in Canada. And it's so funny. And let me show you what started it. What started this one is a buckle. It's Heineken. That's the one start this part of this 1 out of 1,000 story. Every Friday, coming from work, this beer store. Every Friday coming from work, I always stop there to get my case of Heineken, right? Every Friday evening after work, going home. At the time, I lived a little bit more out in the country. That's in Nova Scotia. I live out in the country, like a few minutes from town. I just try to get everything on Friday and going home. That means I don't have to go back out if I don't have to. So I remember this one Friday, I stopped at the liquor store. So when I reach, grab my Heineken like always, put it on the belt and the counter. I remember this lady said, "Can I see your ID? Can I see your ID?" And honestly, I wasn't thinking about nothing at all at that point. Give her my ID, grab my beer, and I leave. Wasn't thinking about nothing, wasn't thinking about no racism, no thinking about no bitterness, nothing at all. Wasn't thinking about. So I remember, it didn't even run through my mind, but that is the last thing on my mind, right? I remember the next Friday, that person, I wasn't paying attention either. I grabbed my beer again, my Heineken. Reach to the counter. It's the same woman. For that with me, I notice everything. Even when you think I don't notice, I notice everything, right? So I remember she said, "Can I see your ID?" And I said, "That small town, trust me, that small town, as a black person living in that town, everybody know you. So you can count the handful of black people where you do see in that town. Everybody know you. If you walk down the street, somebody can tell you, you walk down the street." So I said, you don't remember me? You don't remember me from last week? You asked me for my ID last week. At this time, I'm getting irritated, like I'm getting angry. And I don't easily get angry, but I'm getting angry at this time. I'm like, "I showed you my ID last week." So there's a guy now, before that, there's a guy was in front of me. At that time, I used to do the bouncer work at a club. I was be a bouncer at a club. So this guy in front of me now, this guy is 21, I know him because he come to the bar every weekend. So the guy said to the lady, "Why you didn't ask me for my ID? I am 21. This guy work at the bar. He's a bouncer at the bar. He's old enough." And when I hear the guy said that, like, "Why you didn't ask me for my ID?" At that time, I was like, is this lady really profiling me? That is the last thing I want to put in my brain. But I guess she was. So I said, like, all the thing I look. I said, my daughter, I think my daughter was what? My daughter was 16, 15. I think my daughter was 15. I said, like, my daughter is 15-year-old. Like, come on, like, what? I said, "Oh, I need to know your ID. You should," like she said, "you should be happy to show me your ID. That's a compliment." And I looked her dead in the eyes and said, "I'm not a girl. I don't need compliment. I know I'm angry." And she said, "Let me see your ID. Let me see your ID." And I give her the ID because I'm one that person who don't like trouble, don't like problem. Then give me back my ID. I said, I said something that maybe I shouldn't have said anyway, but at that time I was pissed off. I said, I sure you are about 39, 40, but you look like 60. And I walk out. And she turned red, but at this time I was pissed off, right? And that time was only the one beer store in town, so guess what, you have to go back next week. If you want to drink a beer, I have to go back to the same damn store next week. So at this time now, I decided I'm going to change my time. I'm not going back there after her. I'm gonna go there a bit later in the evening. Maybe she's already leave, right? And I remember when I walk in the store this time, I look around. She wasn't nowhere to be found. I was so friggin' happy. I run to the back of the store. I grab my beer, and there's a police officer was there at that time who I know from working at the bar. So me and him was there talking, and I reached to the counter. He was behind me. So I put my beer on the friggin' counter. And it was a young girl who was working there. That girl was a young girl was working there. So I said, "Can I see your ID?" So that shocked me again. Like, what the frig? I said, the first thing I said to her, "Where is she?" And she looked at me and like she go like this. And when I look up, it was a big glass window up in their office. On the back side, I look up, she was standing there like this, looking down at me. At this time now, I cannot mad at this girl because it's the instruction that she get. She have to do her job. So the cops behind me, police guy said, "Are you serious?" The cop behind me. And I said, "Man, this is what I go through every single weekend when I come here." And the cop look at her, at the woman behind the glass. I remember. And I think he went over and said something to her, right? And he come back, the cop come back to me. And he said, "Just show her your ID." And because I was a younger girl, I show her my ID. Because it's not her fault, right? This one woman. This is the third incident. And it was, at that time now get bad. The outside now, I went out there and see the cop, the police guy. And he said I must report her to the business because he's profiling you. And the police guy said, "We don't take this in our town." And I said, "Man, I don't got time for this." And he said, "If you don't do it, you're gonna get the same thing every week." And I remember I go back there the same night. I went back there it was the same night or the next, no, the Saturday night. I went Saturday night. And the manager or the owner or somebody was there. I remember walking in and like, that guy know my wife. No, the lady know my wife. And say, "Oh, long time don't see." And like, the reason why we're here is to come speak about the profile. No, I'm getting all twisted. I remember my wife who was there. I think I said, you don't believe me? Come with me, right? That is the next night. She buy a drink, I buy a drink. She go first. And they did not ID her. And they ID me, and I'm older. And the lady get somebody else to ID me. She was in the back hiding at this time. And get somebody to ID me. I don't know if she know that I come into that store that day, ID me. And we speak. I think my wife speak to the next lady. And that lady was so mad at this time. She couldn't believe it. Like, why we didn't report it from a long time ago, and this is not right. And that was, I don't know what they do to her, but from then, every time I go there, I never see that woman again. I'm telling you, like, I did not see that woman again. So that is one of my experience here where it was uncomfortable to know that you can't stop it. You can't stop racism nowhere you go. And I don't really preach racism. I don't really talk about racism, but it's just something I'm here doing some stuff and it just run through my brain and I said, I have to share this one with you guys. But that one was an eye opener. And that one, I said, out of my 1,000 experience, good, bad, and the ugly, that was one. So again, stay tuned for part 2. But it just get better and better and better. And if it's your first time here, remember to like, share, and subscribe. If you want to get a different part 2 of my life here, again, the good coming, and the bad coming, and the ugly coming. So just stay tuned. Like for part 2. I'm going to do one every Saturday. So stay tuned for part 2. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.